we don't feel like ourselves. We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since Barack Obama. I just think he was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive in his messaging. The left, they look at you like when you say this, they don't know what you're talking about. It's like, because you don't pay attention to the other half of the country. You only pay attention to your absurd news sources, which spin and spin and spin to protect Democrats, especially if they're named Obama. He's the one who started to inject race where no one had been doing it. He's the one who started to use his pen and the phone to shove things down our throat that we didn't want. He's the one who shoved through an entitlement on our healthcare and our personal doctor visits that he promised he wouldn't mess with, and then he did, really hurting people, causing massive anger and open lies. He never missed an opportunity to twist the knife on the racial issue. He would do it subtly in his own way, but it was very clear what he was doing. He never, for the first time, we had a president who weighed in on legal cases before they'd played out. We never did that. That was a taboo that had never been crossed before him. And Donald Trump was the reason Barack Obama, reverse that. Barack Obama was the reason Donald Trump came about, that he was born as a political figure. They say Trump's divisive. He was the antidote. He was the answer to the divisiveness of Barack Obama. And we just haven't felt like ourselves for years now.
White people, generally speaking, of course, not all of them, but most of them, otherwise we wouldn't be in this situation. Most white people suffer from something I call moral dysmorphia.
Why is the answer Obama caused the division in this country for calling out racism and holding police accountable for their brutality, but it's never racism and people who are racist cause the division in this country? Because racism and political violence towards marginalized communities has always been around in America. When this country was founded, slavery was happening and Native Americans were being killed to gain this land. Fast forward to the Civil War, an entire war that was dedicated to whether slavery was bad or not. Then you also have the civil rights movement, where we saw tons of political violence simply because people didn't think that Black people should be integrated with society. These are also just standout moments within American history when American history is filled with these kinds of examples. America loves to practice the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But to even get a different result, you have to understand what the root cause is of the problem. And you can't do that when you're blaming the wrong thing.
Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking. When you saw this video, so I came across this on my FYP and I tend to share with you all. This brother actually said a whole lot. Okay, he was really exposing a whole lot in that community. So a white woman came out on live TV to talk about how Obama was, a sneaky snake, and he is the reason why there's so many separation and all of that. Okay, that before Obama, all of that was not in place. And a lot of people actually reacted to it, but this brother said a whole lot. Okay, I'm just going to let the rest of his video to roll so that we can have a conversation at the end of the video. But let me know what you all think in the comment section as we watch together, and please do well to like and subscribe if you have not already. Credit to all creators on this video. So let's go watch, then I'll come back with the commentary.
An example of moral dysmorphia would be if you call yourself pro-life, but you're perfectly fine with little Mexican babies being ripped from their mothers and shoved into cages under concentration camp conditions. Well then, congratulations. You have moral dysmorphia. But a bigger, more glaring example is what just happened with this character, Charlie Kirk. Let's be real. White people in America do not care about gun violence. That's not hyperbole. That's not my opinion. That's fact. Because numbers don't lie. White people hold the power when it comes to gun legislation. Every single year, children are slaughtered in their classrooms. Black people are executed by police in the streets. Veterans blow their brains out in despair. And what does white America do? Absolutely nothing. Not a damn thing every single year. Thoughts and prayers. Actually, it's worse than nothing. They promote it. They encourage it. They fetishize guns like a religion. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say they love gun violence.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
And yet, for the first time in maybe four decades, I've actually seen white people pretend to care. And why? Why? Because Charlie Kirk, a white, straight Christian man, got shot in the neck. And suddenly, there are these vigils, and tears, and candlelight ceremonies, hands held in prayer like the second coming just happened. Meanwhile, on the very same day Charlie Kirk died, there was a high school shooting in Colorado. Children, innocent children, were gunned down. And guess what? Nobody gave a shit. Nobody prayed for them on the courthouse steps. Nobody lit candles in their names, because all the oxygen in the room was being spent mourning Charlie fucking Kirk. And let's not forget who Charlie Kirk really was. These are Charlie Kirk's actual words, and I quote, Gay people should be stoned to death. Most people are scared when they see a black pilot flying a plane. No one should be allowed to retire. British colonialism was what made the world decent. The guy who assaulted the Pelosi's should be bailed out. Religious freedom should be terminated. Multiple black politicians stole white people's spots. Martin Luther King Jr. was an awful person. Gun deaths are acceptable in order to have a Second Amendment. Women's natural place is under the husband's control. Parents should prevent their daughters from taking birth control. George Floyd had it coming, and the January 6 protesters didn't. The 1964 Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake.
Comparing abortion to the Holocaust.
Absolutely I am. In fact, it's worse. It's worse. Were these blacks trying to go rob her? Happening all the time in urban America? Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. Black crime is a major issue in our country. Why are you pushing criminal justice reform exactly? Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson, they're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Now, the southern border is, of course, the great replacement. They're trying to replace us demographically. They're trying to make the country less white. It is an anti-white agenda. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
If you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was going to give birth and she would, no, wait, oh, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her rapist baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the data would be delivered. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that?
So I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm asking you the question. The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration.
That's just a taste of what that man was about. That's who Charlie Kirk was. That's who these white people are treating like a martyr. To say that white people are morally bankrupt is to imply that they had morals to begin with. But frankly, there is no evidence of that. It's more like they are morally destitute. And a symptom is this warped view of reality. And to make matters worse, the Daily Wire jumped in with one of the dumbest, most dishonest comparisons I've ever seen. They posted a TikTok with two clips. On one side, students holding hands and praying after Kirk's death. On the other, fires raging in the streets after George Floyd's murder. The caption? This is why Republicans are the party of love. And 3 million people liked that shit. You see, that is moral dysmorphia in its purest form. Let me tell you something. Charlie Kirk was killed by the manifestation of his own psychotic words and actions. A white man who thought he wasn't conservative enough. This was white on white crime. He was killed by a radicalized, domesticated white terrorist in the whitest state in the nation, surrounded by white people who were probably all packing. On the contrary, George Floyd was an innocent man lynched in broad daylight by the state, on camera, under the knee of an officer who treated his life like it was disposable. That murder wasn't an isolated act. It was part of a centuries-long pattern of systemic brutality against black people. And the worst part is, white people didn't just watch. They fucking cheered when George Floyd died. They joked about it. They made fun of the man, pleading for his life in his final fucking moments. So yeah, of course the responses looked different. White America held hands for Charlie Kirk because he represented them in their incessant fucking hate. Black America burned shit to the ground because we've been watching our people get killed over and over and fucking over again with no justice, no accountability, to no end. And yet the Daily Wire and millions of their followers have the audacity to call one love and the other hate. They canonize the racist demagogue and demonize the man who begged for his fucking life. That's not morality. That's sickness. That is moral dysmorphia. And it doesn't stop there. Look at this Megyn Kelly bitch. She went on air and straight-faced blamed Barack Obama for everything wrong in this country. She said Obama was slick, divisive, and the reason Trump even came about, as if Trump's insurrection, Trump's racism, Trump's corruption, and Trump's failures were all just some kind of allergic reaction to a black man in a suit. Think about how insane that is. Obama gives America hope, dignity, and a shred of grace. Trump gives America hate, corruption, and a literal coup attempt. And somehow, in their twisted little mirror, it's the hope that ruined everything. You see what I'm getting at here? That's what moral dysmorphia does. It flips reality upside down. It convinces white America that black people pointing out racism is divisive, but white mobs storming the Capitol is patriotism. It convinces them that police killings are isolated, but protests against those killings are chaos. That's why they cry for Charlie Kirk, but they shrug at dead children. It's why they blame Obama for division, but they call Trump the antidote. It's why they can't look in the mirror without twisting the reflection into something else. Black people, immigrants, the left, anything but them fucking selves. It's fucking insane. But here's the truth. Charlie Kirk didn't die because of liberals. He died because of the America that he built and that he cheered for. George Floyd didn't die because of one bad apple. He died because of the system white America created and still fucking protects. And until this country admits it, until it stops twisting morality into excuses for white supremacy, nothing changes. So light your candles for Charlie Kirk, hold your vigils, pray your prayers, but don't you dare tell me that's love. That's not love. That's not morality. This is sickness. This is hypocrisy. This is moral dysmorphia. You people are fucking sick. Something wrong with you motherfuckers. See you on the next post.
Now, when we talk about separation, right, that happened, can we take our mind back? Okay, can we have like a flashback of the different centuries where there was slavery and there was just, segregation and all of that? Can we talk about the water fountains that everybody have theirs? Okay, because when they come and tell us that this person is the reason why there is a separation, I think that these people need to look at. Okay, she came out and said all of that she said, forgetting that, over time, okay, people have seen different videos surface online, and you would tell for free that, I don't know why they're bringing Obama into all of this. In fact, this let's take a look at what happened in a few weeks ago, okay, during Charlie Kirk passing. A lot of his videos surfaced online where, so many things happened and people were talking about all the things that he said, especially to Black and brown people and all that. And he said a lot. Okay, if you have watched some of the clips, you will definitely see that he said a lot about these people, right? He said so many things concerning a lot of people, and he talked about how he doesn't think that what amendment was supposed to be, okay, there was a mistake. And he talked about, Martin Luther King, like he said so many things. He talked about Obama, the wife of Obama and all that, and he actually came out and responded to some of the things that he said and about Michelle Obama and all that. And I think this lady freaked out from there, and somehow they will always find a way to call a Black person's name, okay, no matter what, even when it's been obvious that, these people are not even your problem, but somehow they will try to call them out one way or the other to just make them feel somehow, okay. I don't know. I think there is a joy they derive in doing that, because if they don't, I don't think every conversation should lead to you mentioning Black folks and everything. I think that's a joy in doing that. There is something they derive in doing that, I guess. Because for this lady to actually come on live TV to say all that she said, right, then there is a joy she derived from that, okay. Now, with that being said, a lot of people actually, some of these things that have happened in the past, they actually didn't go well. And of course, whatever Charlie said, okay, didn't also go well with a lot of communities, and people started calling him out on whatever thing he was saying, okay. Yes, he's a Christian, I'm a Christian as well, but some of the words that he said, for me, I didn't go with it, okay. Some of the things he said, I didn't go with it. So I feel that he was just, too vocal at some point. Not really vocal, but he didn't mind whoever his words will hurt or anything. What he just wanted to do was to pass his message. He doesn't care if he hurts anybody or if he says anything bad about a particular community. He just didn't care, okay? So I was surprised when he passed. A lot of people now came online and started calling out the Black folks who were, not mourning him, okay, per se. They were not mourning him. Some people came out and like, what happened to him was bad, but somehow it was part of the things that he wanted, right? Because of the word that he said about, when he said something about, this kind of thing, peering should happen in order to protect the Fourth Amendment, I think. And a lot of people now, relate to his speech then, okay, instead of him, talking down on what has happened and calling a spade, he said a lot of words. And some people were like, okay, maybe it might just be some of those things and that he said, one of those things that he said, right? Anyway, this woman now came out and started talking about how Obama was the issue, okay, and all that. But we are here now, and we've seen how undocumented people were separated, taken back to their country, okay, separated from their families without anybody caring, if their families are there or not. They just wanted to get them away. Okay, I saw a video of a lady who made a video recently. Someone made a video recently. I was talking about how someone was picked up. Until now, they don't even know why this person was taken. They've tried different ICE detention centers and still haven't found them. Okay, so somehow there should be like a portal where these people are placed. Oh, we just pick this person, you guys can find this person here, that kind of thing. But people are being separated and people are constantly looking for their family members. People are scared, oh, my family member might go out now and not even come back home to meet us. So all of these things have happened, that keep happening in recent times. Okay, even though they keep blaming people that are past, okay, that have gone, like Biden, Obama, and all the rest of them. When something is playing real time in their faces, okay, I'm not saying that these people were perfect. No, they also had their own issues. Okay, let's even talk the truth, right? Everyone had their own issues, but separating families, was one of the worst things that came with this particular administration. I just think so, right? I feel that they shouldn't have separated families. If you want to deport somebody, maybe the whole family should just go home, put them on a plane back, okay, not keeping people in detention camps for weeks, okay, before deciding on what to do with them. And that's why everybody actually faulted them, which is bad. Okay, well, I would love to hear what you all have to say about today's video and this woman, then the black brother who actually break down the whole thing piece by piece. I would love to hear what you all have to say about it. Okay, share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Credit to the creator in this video, and please do what to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you all on my next. Bye guys.